Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aiman Biramli and I'm from Section 5, SEMM 2713, Manufacturing Process. And my lecturer is TS Rozaimi Muhammad Saad. So for today, I will present to you a topic of biodegradable polymers for my individual assignment. So before we go to the biodegradable polymers, I love to share to you what is a non-biodegradable polymers. For your information, the non-biodegradable polymers is what we always keep on using or consuming nowadays. Okay, so I provide a video here. So this video is actually an educational awareness video recorded in Singapore, where they want to give awareness to the people there about how many plastic that we are always consume nowadays. So human tend to use more non-biodegradable polymers like plastic because it is always the first choice for people in our world. So, but the problem is now the non-biodegradable polymers takes a longer period to be decomposed. So, for example, I provide here is a bottle of soda. So, a single bottle of soda actually take 100 years to be decomposed, but it only can be used for once. So, after you drink a bottle of soda, then you throw away. So, it takes for one single bottle of soda is 100 years. And I also love to share about the Sustainable Development Goals. So this is an initiative from United Nations actually, because there is a statistics. China alone has produced almost 60 million tons of plastic waste, while India produced 4.5 million tons and United Kingdom produced 1 million tons of plastic waste. So this is a critical atmosphere nowadays because people are now worrying about the increasing of waste in our world, and what about the future generation which will live next after our generation. So United Nations has come with 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. So number 13 and number 14 and number 15 is always related to our nature. So this initiative is actually being aimed for our world to be the better world in 2030. Okay, so we go to the introduction part. So what is biodegradable polymers? So I have provide here the definition for biodegradable and the definition for polymers. So biodegradable is actually can define as a substance or materials that can be disintegrated by bacteria or other living organisms. And the polymers are defined as chemical substance that consisting of large molecules made from many smaller simple molecules. So if we combine both of these words, it can be biodegradable polymers are materials that can be degraded by itself when being exposed to the presence of microorganisms and can be assimilated to the natural surrounding. So as what you guys can see in the picture here. So after we dig the soil and we put biodegradable polymers and we put back the soil onto it. So it will take almost a month for the bacteria to assimilate it with the biodegradable polymers, and eventually it will be decomposed. Okay, right now let us discuss about type of biodegradable polymers. So as you guys can see here, we have two types of biodegradable polymers, which is the first one is the agropolymers and the second one is biopolyesters. So in general, agropolymers is actually comes from starch, protein, something like that. while biopolyesters come from living resources or non-living resources. So in this slide, it is explained about the polysaccharides and protein in more details. And as what you guys can see, polysaccharides actually a complex carbohydrate and the most available macromolecules in our world. An example of polysaccharides actually starch, chitin, chitosan, and pectin. And for proteins, proteins is actually made from isolated purified soy flour that produce soy protein, potato fruit water, and waste that form from processing peas, beans, and lentils. So to make the proteins strong, plasticizer is added to the protein properties so that the intramolecular forces between each molecules become strong. For the biopolyesters, it is come from natural fats and oil that form or combine together. Okay. Okay, in the next slide, I will explain to you about the degradation process because many of us wonder why the biodegradable polymers can be composed. So according to Ashwin, Karthik, and Arumugam, degradation of polymers occurred in terms of changing its properties like tensile strength, color, shape, and etc. So degradation process is influenced by microbial action, photodegradation, or chemical degradation. So it requires the presence of microorganisms so that the material will be broken down. I provide a video here for us to watch. So as you guys can see, this is a plastic from the biodegradable polymers. The left one, you guys can see the left one is the paper bag and the right one is actually the non-biodegradable polymers. Okay, so we will dig this plastic and put inside of the soil. Okay, so this is the person that will do that. So okay, so they will put inside of the soil and they will put the compost materials and they will water the soil. And after a month, uh, he dig back to see the result from the degradation process. And as what you guys can see, yes, as what you guys can see, the biodegradable plastics is become smaller and shrink, while the white plastic is still in the same shape. This is the white plastic is still in the same shape, but the biodegradable plastic is already shrinking, while the paper bag is already unexist. Okay, so that is an example of degradation process that happened in a month. Okay, we go through the next slide. So for this slide, I will explain to you the application of biodegradable polymers. So we have three applications, which is biomedical, packaging, and agriculture. So the next slide, we will go to the biomedical first. Okay. Okay, so we go to the first application, which is biomedical application. As you guys know, biodegradable polymers has the degradability aspects, which is the properties inside of biodegradable polymers. But it also has other aspects such as non-toxicity, sterilizability, effectivity, and also biocompatibility. And in this application, we will discuss more about biocompatibility. So what is biocompatibility? So biocompatibility or biomaterial or biocompatible material can be defined as a synthetic material that can replace any part of our body or natural material inside of our body. We can replace it with the biomaterial. So why is that can happen? So living cells in our body actually can be directly contacted with the biocompatible material, and that is why these biodegradable polymers can be inside of our body. Okay, I will show you example. So here I provide 6 examples. So inside of biomaterials, there is a disposal products and also the material supporting surgical process. And the disposal products is actually something related outside of our body, and the material supporting surgical process is something related inside of our body. So some of examples for disposal product is blood bags, catheter, and syringe. And for the material supporting surgical process, this is always related with the, we call it as orthotic and prosthesis. Okay, so we have artificial valve inside the heart, knee joint replacement, and artificial lens. So the specialty of biodegradable polymers inside of medical application is, so if previously we described what is agropolymers and biopolyesters, now we want to describe what it can do in the medical application. So for agropolymers, you guys can see the point number 2. So it contains protein that can be used as natural or bacterial polymer. Okay, so it has been applied in building the artificial structure tissues, hemostatic agent, and drug delivery system. While for biopolyesters, it contains a good strength and adjustable degrading period being applied in tissue engineering. So, furthermore, biopolyester also being used in vascular or orthopedic surgery because it has the strong structure that can be used to replace the tissue inside of our body. Okay, so we go to the next application, which is packaging application. So as you guys can see the previous video, we always relating the biodegradable polymers with the plastic bags. So this is the packaging industry, which is the plastic bag in. Okay, so biodegradable and non-biodegradable polymers is always be well known to be inside of this packaging application. So one of the criteria why the factory or the employer in the factory choose non-biodegradable or biodegradable polymers is because of the price. So for your information, biodegradable polymers is more cheaper as compared to the non-biodegradable polymers. The point number 3, the type of biodegradable polymers selected is depends on the physical characteristics. As for example, if you want to buy something from the shop, you must make sure that the plastic bag that can hold the product that you buy from the shop, the plastic must be strong. So that's why the physical characteristics must be look forward if you want to choose the type of the biodegradable polymers. Okay, so I provide three examples actually. So we have the first example is polylactic acid, or we call it as PLA. So PLA is come from agropolymers category. So it is a low price, medium level of permeability towards water vapor and oxygen, and it is also being applied in lawn bag, plastic bag, and bottle cup. Yes. But it is not 100% biodegradable because it has been mixed with some other material to make sure that it is strong. Okay, so but it has the biodegradable properties inside of it. So if you use it as the compost process, it will degrade for sure. Next is polycaprolactone or PCL, come from the category of biopolyester. So it is soft, compostable packaging used as packaging films, very sensitive to moisture, and also just it's sensitive to oxidation. So this is the picture of the packaging film. Uh, so packaging film. And the third example is the polyhydroxybutyrate or PHP, also come from the biopolyester category. So example is the water bottle inside of the picture. You guys can see it degrade from a single bottle until it decompose. So it attractive to environmental, friendly, good oxygen permeability, and non-toxic. That is the most important thing. Okay, so I think that's all for packaging. Okay, the last application is in the agriculture application. Okay, so biodegradable polymers is come from the agriculture origin. Okay, so it also being used in the agriculture application. Okay, so why we use the biodegradable polymers? Because of the aspect of biodegradability. Okay, so example of biodegradable polymers in agriculture industry is the plastic films. Okay, as what you guys can see, plastic films before this is being used in the packaging industry. It also being used in the agriculture industry. So plastic film used as greenhouse covering for fumigation and mulching. So what is fumigation and what is mulching? So mulching is actually you put a layer of material on the surface of soil, while fumigation is a method to control or fill an area with gases, pesticides, or fumigants. Okay. Okay, so biodegradable plastic can conserve the moisture, can increase the soil temperature, and reduce weed in order to grow the plant. Okay, so the second example is for marine agriculture. So biodegradable polymers is being applied to create ropes and fishing nets, which will be used to hold marine agriculture. Okay, so this is the picture that being used in the marine agriculture. Okay, number three, horticulture. So biodegradable polymers used to make a bag of fertilizer, clips, staples, biodegradable plant pots, and disposable composting containers. So I want to explain an example here. When you go to the nursery and you want to buy a plant, so you will get or you will find out that the plant that you want to buy has a black pots at the roots of the plant. So these black pots, we have to ensure that it is disposable black pots, because after we plant it inside of the soil, we want to ensure that after a month or 2 months, the disposable pots will be decomposed, and the roots can go to find the water by itself. So it is important to find the biodegradable polymers for that pots. Okay, so number four is agriculture firms. So this is the example of agriculture firms. We place in the soil together with the plants to degrade into non-toxic products. So it is hard to aging and is so useful for its lifetime. So example of the agriculture firms is the black one that you guys can see on the soil here. Okay. So I guess it's all for my presentation. I hope everyone can understand about the overview of the biodegradable polymers. So I have described in the first slide about the non-biodegradable polymers. Then I go to the SDG initiative from UN. Then I go to the biodegradable polymers, the type of the biodegradable polymers, and the application of biodegradable polymers. So we have three application. The first one biomedical, the second one packaging, and the third one agriculture. So I hope all of you can understand this presentation, and thank you.